Alright, welcome back to Nell's Kitchen. I am going to make an entree for you today, and it is going to be called Italian stuffed beef rolls. It's going to have a roasted red pepper sauce. Absolutely fabulous. Now, thought I'd explain a little. If you haven't guessed by now, I love to collect aprons, so I will hopefully be wearing a different apron in every episode, so keep a watch out for that. Alright. So the first thing I'm going to do for these Italian stuffed beef rolls is I'm going to go ahead and make my filling. I have a 10-ounce box of spinach that I've thawed and squeezed dry. Put that in my bowl. And I have a 6-ounce jar of marinated artichoke hearts that I have drained and chopped fine. That's going to go in my bowl. Now, I also have some chopped roasted red bell peppers. Now, you can roast these yourself, but to save myself considerable time and a step, I get them in a jar. You can find these usually in the pickle section, and this is a nice size jar. I just basically took out what would be half of a bell pepper and chopped it up and put that in my bowl there. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to chop some fresh basil. Comes out to be about 2 tablespoons of chopped basil that you're going to want to add to this recipe. Here's that. Alright, then I'm going to add my 8 ounces of Philadelphia cream cheese. Again, I'm using plain cream cheese because that's what I happen to have on hand. This recipe though, the spinach and artichoke cream cheese would be absolutely fabulous. The garden vegetable would be wonderful. And the chive and onion would be good. You could use the less fat cream cheese if you so desire. Pretty much any of the savory cream cheeses would be great. All I'm going to do now is just stir it up to get it all nice and well combined. Okay, as you can see, I've got it all nice and mixed up here. And I'm just going to, now that it's all mixed up, I'm going to set it aside for a minute while I get my beef ready to make the roll. Now, there are 2 ways to do this. You can either talk to the butcher or look in your meat department or at the meat counter and look for something called round top for roll-it-in. It's thin, really thin slices of beef that you can just spread this filling on, roll it up, and you're good to go. Otherwise, if you don't have that or you just don't happen to have it on hand, you can buy little steaks. These are just top round pieces that are cut into steaks, or you can cut pieces of top round. I put them into a gallon-sized zip top bag, and then I just you can use a meat tenderizer. I happen to use one of my dad's old mallets. They don't have a meat tenderizer, and just pound them out thin. You want to try to get them evenly pounded out so that they're fairly thin and even all the way around. You want to try not to make any holes in them because you don't want your filling to leak out. And as you can see, my little steak spread out and it's pretty thin there. So, now to make the roll, it's real simple. Just lay your piece of flat steak out, and I'm going to put a good amount of filling on there. Probably 2 tablespoons, maybe close to 3, depending on the size of your little steak here. You are going to get your fingers messy on this one. That's one reason I wear an apron. And then you're just going to go ahead and fold it up and roll it up just like you would, say, a burrito even. Try to kind of keep the edges tucked in as much as possible to keep that yummy filling in. And there's, it's just rolled up. Now you're going to put them with the seam side. You're going to go ahead and put the seam side down in your pan. So like I'll take this and I'll just set it in like this. I'll set it up against the edge to keep it from unrolling as it bakes as well. So you're just going to go ahead and finish up with the
you're going
steaks that you have
rolls that you've made up in your baking dish,
and you're just going to go ahead, put them in a 425-degree oven for 30 to 35 minutes or until they're cooked completely through. Now, while you've got your rolls in the oven baking, you're going to go ahead and make your roasted red pepper sauce. As you can hear, I have already got some onions going and some olive oil here. And just going to cook those until they're soft, just a couple minutes. Then I'm going to turn the heat down and add my garlic. Now, I like my garlic pretty small, so you can either mince it pretty small or put it through a garlic press, or I actually take it and run it over a microplane grater and just grate my garlic usually. And you're going to stir that in. Now, you want to make sure that you've turned your heat down because you don't want your garlic to burn. And you'll know if it's burned. You can smell it when it's burned. And you get that in there. I wish you could be here and smell it. It smells absolutely fabulous in here. Now, those are looking pretty good. To make my roasted red pepper sauce, I'm going to take the rest of that, of the 16-ounce jar of roasted bell peppers that I took one of the bell peppers out of and chopped it up for our filling for the beef rolls. I'm just going to take this and I'm just going to dump it right in there, just like it is. I've drained most of the liquid off. Not quite all of it. You want a little bit of that liquid in there. Alright. Just going to let that continue to cook a little bit. And now, once you get that in there pretty good, it's pretty chunky here still, but that's okay, we'll deal with that in a minute. I'm going to add an 8-ounce can of tomato sauce. Put that all in there. There we go. And at this point you can turn the heat back up just a little bit if you want to get it to simmer just a little bit. Now, I like a smooth sauce. If you wanted a chunky sauce, you could just roughly chop those roasted bell peppers, but I like a smooth sauce. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take my fancy schmancy immersion blender here. Now, if you don't have an immersion blender, you can run it in a regular blender. Just run it in batches until it finish off the sauce. You can run it through a food processor. Go ahead and add about a tablespoon of tomato paste, just to give it a nice little thickness. Stir that in. You do want to be careful when you're cooking tomato products and products like this sauce. The thicker they are, they do tend to spatter a little bit when they're simmering. So just be aware and be careful of that. I just love the color of this sauce. It's a beautiful, beautiful kind of orangey red color. I just love it. Now I'm going to go ahead and season the sauce. I'm going to check it first because using canned tomato sauce, tomato paste, the roasted red peppers, you want to go ahead and taste it to make sure that you don't want to add a teaspoon of salt if it doesn't need a teaspoon of salt. So I'm going to go ahead and taste it here. Fabulous. Okay, it doesn't actually need any salt. It's good for my taste. So I'm going to season it with some fresh ground pepper. And I'm just going to go ahead and let that flavor on the stove over low heat, just simmering, stirring it carefully until my beef rolls are all done. Alright, we have gone ahead and baked our Italian stuffed beef rolls for 30 to 35 minutes at 425 degrees. I'm just going to go ahead and take them out of the oven and plate them up. My sauce has been simmering now for a good 15-20 minutes. It's all good to go. So all I'm going to do is just put it on the plate and give it a nice big spoonful of sauce. That is Italian stuffed beef rolls.